Welcome back to Bloomberg This Weekend. Bloomberg B, This, T, Weekend, W, BTW. As we say, David Gura with Christina Ruffini.
Too tired to have this fight with you today.
Lisa Mateos, you've ascertained, out this week. Nathan Hager with us with some stories you might have missed. You've been mining the terminal, mining Bloomberg.com, mining outside sites as well. I should say it's an opportunity for us to look broadly at the news.
Not using AI, using your brain.
Yeah, can't do that. Critical thinking. We even do that this early in the morning. Good morning.
It's hard.
It is a struggle.
But there is coffee. There is coffee available.
Speaking of drinking, this isn't about coffee. This is about drinking culture, because I don't think it's any secret that the beverage industry has been dealing with the changes, 20-somethings, kind of pulling back because of health concerns or the economy.
Yeah, we just did a story at Jim Beam, and they're owned by this big Japanese conglomerate.
Well, remind me of this, because you said that they're actually getting into not a non-alcoholic whiskey, but like other...
No, but Jim Beam, they're doing non-alcoholic cocktails to try to, get these young people who are not drinking alcohol to purchase some of their products.
Well, this isn't just a Western phenomenon or here in the States. It's even spreading to China, although the reasons here are a little bit different. This is really about a generational divide. This was from the Wall Street Journal this week. A sober, curious generation is challenging the business culture of heavy drinking, because, I mean, you can see it right here for our listeners on radio. They do toasts. Yes. This has been a part of the culture for decades now. Some business leaders say that, you can tell whether a deal is going to go down based on how many toasts are in the deal. So an initial business deal isn't even about business. It's about just doing the toast. And this is around a national drink called Baijiu. It's actually a $170 billion business. This is a clear spirit that's distilled from sorghum, and it's kind of the traditional alcoholic beverage that Chinese business people and at social gatherings do to do these toasts. But only about a fifth of adults in China ages 25 to 35 name it as their preferred alcoholic drink. They say, at least one worker says, it burns your throat and stinks.
It is very terrible.
Oh, you've had it?
Yes, I have.
I've had soju, but I've never had this.
It's extremely strong.
Well, would you say that the aftertaste is worse than a mix of funky cheese and fermented juice?
I don't even know if I had time to process the taste because it was so powerful and strong.
Wow.
It reminds me of that.
Now I kind of want it, but...
It reminds me of like Malort. Isn't that the Chicago drink? It's like a very strong...
I don't know what that is either.
Well, I will bring some in for you to have, but...
I mean, I had moonshine once. Well, it almost killed me.
That could be quite sweet and comforting.
So the bottom line about how this is working in China is that it's not just about giving up alcohol necessarily. It's about changing the way that young people decide to drink and sort of rejecting or, going a little bit against how the older generation have done it with their alcoholic spirits.
All right, what else you got?
Well, you mentioned the must-have summer status symbol.
Well teased. Well teased.
This is something to drink.
Hopefully it's not a tan, because we've all learned that's not happening for me.
Well, it's something in a bottle. It's not sunscreen. It's a $3.99 bottle of water. So yes, you can forget your Baijiu flavored lattes or your bubble tea. This is Lunin water. It's showing up at bougie grocery stores, private events here in New York City.
So Christina must have seen it on the shelves.
How dare you? Also, yes, I have.
Oh, have you now? And the way they sell this is it's sourced from a Southern California spring using stainless steel filtration, adding natural minerals like Celtic sea salt, magnesium, potassium, and calcium. All this for the low, low price of $3.99.
Wow.
Now, this was co-founded last year, actually, by a woman named Clara Sieg. She's a former venture capitalist who,
of course she is.
When she was, deciding to get pregnant, getting ready to, she decided to educate herself about microplastics and found that she says that this stainless steel filtration process gets out more of the microplastics. But when you talk to experts, they say, water's water.
Water's water.
And even if there is, Evian or Liquid Death, there is no evidence that any of these elite brands are going to give you any other health
water
advantage.
in glass does taste different.
Lunacy. It's called lunacy.
It's called Lunin.
Lunin. Okay.
Potato. Sorry,
what else?
Nathan.
What else you got?
Editorializing.
Any more drinking stories?
Not
Any more
me.
drinking stories for us
Why would I editorialize? Never.
Okay.
Never.
So, we're going to go from luxury water to luxury hotels here, because this is a new trend across Europe, actually. It's not just about the thread count or the buzzy restaurant. History is the new amenity. This story is actually from Bloomberg this week. You can go to the Raffles London at the OWO and sip martinis in a basement that was once used by British intelligence, because of course OWO.
You're speaking my language. History nerd and bougie hotel. This is
pop
great.
quiz. OWO stands for
Office of
wartime.
Along the lines, Old War Office.
Oh, something like that. Okay. All right.
The Nomad London, you can tour old prison cells where Oscar Wilde once waited for sentencing. So guests are paying upwards of $13,000 or $1,300 a night.
That's still a lot.
If the martinis are strong enough,
so you can stay at places that were once limited to the most powerful. And like I said, this is a trend across Europe. There are old ministries in Paris and Lisbon that are turning into hotels. The former Italian central bank headquarters in Rome, because they got to offload some of these old buildings as the governments are modernizing, and these hotel chains are saying, you know what, we'll go ahead and snap them up and give our guests an experience that they'll never forget, compared to like the museums or the spa or whatever, you know.
I understand there's an access issue here and it's not equitable, but I also do think it is nice to preserve these buildings that might otherwise not have a purpose. At least someone is paying to save them, and you know, you got to buy a $14 martini to help
an old post office
keep the bricks
pavilion
stand up.
in DC.
Well,
that's a Waldorf Astoria now.
It is now. It has a very nice bar. I've been there multiple times.
Nathan, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
BTW.
BT Dubs.
Stories you may have missed here over the course of the week on the terminal and at Bloomberg.com, other outlets as well.